Anyway, you were talking about dark. This is Carl would love this. Anyway, here we go. It's Adam talking about dark matter. Go for it. Like, tell me about dark matter, Adam.
Well, I'm trying to prove to you that it exists.
Proof. It's like proving. Can you prove that Jesus exists?
I can prove.
Can you prove that Jesus Christ ever existed? Can you prove that Jesus Christ
himself
existed?
Yeah, there's more.
How do you know?
There's more documentation in the Roman scripts than there are of his existence than there are of Julius Caesar. There are more documented evidence for the existence of Jesus Christ.
This guy spent too much time on the internet.
Than there are of Julius Caesar. Whether he was what we are saying he is, or what Christians say he is as a son of God, is obviously disputable. But the fact that this man existed is completely undisputable. But anyway, that's not. You're taking me on a tangent.
You ever heard of John Lennon?
This is what I'm sorry.
You ever heard of Buddy Holly? Ever heard of Bob Marley? Ever heard of James Dean?
Anyway, let me the dark matter thing. You don't believe it exists. I tell you what, it exists, and it is a fact that exists as much as this fucking shoe exists, bro. What it is, we are not quite sure of because it's not detectable through electromagnetic radiation. But we can infer its presence. This is how it works, right? We know how the laws of motion work, yeah? We know gravity, potential wells, how things move around massive bodies. Solar system, the sun, how the Earth revolves around the sun, how all the other planets revolve around
tell you
the
what,
sun.
here's hold on, no, let me interrupt there. About the sun. Right, where does the sun come from?
What do you mean? Where does it come from?
Where does the sun come from?
The sun is a product of gravity and hydrogen.
Where does that come from? Where does hydrogen come from?
The hydrogen comes from the Big Bang. That's about as
Where does the Big Bang? Where does the Big Bang come from?
Okay, now you're talking about philosophy.
Where does the Big Bang come from?
The Big Bang doesn't come from anything. That's how.
Maybe the Big Bang is what dark matter is.
No, you're not listening to me. Listen, let me finish the whole thing, and then you can say to me whatever you want.
We're not. No, hold on. No. We'll do it like we're doing it. If I've got something to say, I'll say
That's
it.
Fair enough. But
carry on talking.
Once I've said what I want
Carry
to
on
say,
talking. Carry on talking now.
Whatever.
Talk.
Right.
Carry on.
Okay. So the enclosed system, gravitationally, is our solar system, right? Our planets move around the sun, right? They're gravitationally bound. Now, there are the same systems with galaxies. There are galaxies which are gravitationally bound, not just planets within solar systems. So you've got galaxies which are also orbiting a center point of mass, right? The center of mass of maybe however many. You can have compact galaxy clusters, you can have galaxy clusters, you can have super clusters.
But
anyway,
every galaxy has its own sun, does it?
No, galaxies have got billions of suns. There are more stars. A star is a sun. There are more stars, in just our galaxy than there are grains of sand on the Earth. Yeah? And there are more galaxies just in our local section of the universe than there are grains of sand in the Earth. Well, we are so minuscule it's not comprehensible. It's just numbers, right? But listen, the dark matter thing, like I said, we have a gravitationally bound system, which is our solar system. There is also a gravitationally bound system known as a galaxy cluster or a galaxy group or whatever. Anyway, these things also orbit their center of mass, but the rate at which they're orbiting is much faster than they should be. We know how fast things should move.
Don't planets spin faster the closer they are to the sun? No. I'm asking you. The planets. You know how the planets are. There's 9 planets in our solar system, right? Or you know, I mean, sort of like from the sun. Distance from the sun. Which planet is closest to the sun? All right. Which planet is closest to the sun? Mercury. Is that the one which spins fastest?
No, it rotates around. Sorry, it orbits the fastest. It orbits the fastest. It says the highest. Its year is the shortest, but its day is completely non-relevant to
which planet are we talking about?
Mercury.
The closest one, Mercury.
Yeah.
Right.
Mercury, Venus, Mars. Venus.
No, but it's one planet at a time. Can we do one planet at a time?
Well,
no. It's good. I'm enjoying this. Yeah, but
a day on Mercury is longer than a year. A day is
a rotation of the sun.
A day on Mercury is longer than a year because its orbit around the sun is what a year is defined as, your orbit around the sun. But its day is the rotational velocity of the planet itself. Our planet spins over 24 hours, but it takes 352 days to go around the sun. On Mercury, it spins slower than it gets around the sun.
It's slower.
Yeah. A day is.
So the more heat, the less. Yeah, but
it doesn't matter about the heat. We're talking about gravity and rotational velocity. We're at the bottom of. We're the closest to the sun, so we're going to spin faster, right?
So we're what?
We're gonna orbit faster. Mercury's gonna orbit faster, but its spin is completely independent of that gravity. Gravity has nothing to do with the spin. The spin of the planet is angular momentum, and that is.
So actually, it's not the hottest planet. It's the hottest planet.
Oh, I'm losing myself. Venus actually spins the other way round. It's the only planet in the solar system that spins the other way round. All the planets in the system spin this way. Venus spins that way.
Yeah. All right.
Because it had a collision.
All right. All right. That's weird. Oh, now what I'm thinking is, like, from the sun, right? Mercury's the first planet. Is that the hottest planet?
Well, yeah. During the day, it's the hottest planet.
It's the hottest planet. What comes after Mercury? I don't know any of this.
I think Venus reaches the highest temperatures because it has an atmosphere. Venus has severe global warming. It has severe greenhouse effect. It has a very thick carbon dioxide atmosphere. So when the heat goes in, it can't escape.
Right.
It gets in, but it doesn't have.
Is that the one after Mercury? Is that after Mercury? Yeah,
but temperatures. Whereas Mercury has no atmosphere, so that it's bombarded during the day. But when it's nighttime, on Mercury. During the daytime, the surface is as hot as it could melt lead, but at night time it could freeze it.
Yeah,
that's the thing, because you're basically when you're shadowed by the sun, you're not getting any of its energy, so it's completely in space because it has no atmosphere to keep any temperature in. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we've totally gone on a tangent to the dark matter. I'm trying to prove why it exists.
Right, okay. After Mercury, after Mercury, which one's after Mercury?
Venus.
That's
you want to know the easy way to remember the order of the planets?
No, you're talking about. We're doing it now. That's what we're doing now.
Do you want to remember how the planets move? My very easy method, just so you know.
Yeah.
That's how you remember. My very easy method, just so you know. Mercury, Venus, Earth. My very easy method.
The third.
We're
Mars.
Quite close to them. Yeah.
Third rock from the sun. Yeah, of course. Third rock from the sun. Yeah, I'll be the third one.
Bravo! I'm glad that just came to me because I love
Mercury, Venus, Mars.
Yes.
Sorry, Mercury, Venus, Earth.
My very easy.
Mars is further away.
Mercury, Venus, it's the next planet along.
I thought Mars would be nearer the sun because it's a hotter planet.
It's not a hot planet.
Isn't it a hot planet?
Not at all. It's freezing.
Is it?
There's no atmosphere.
Oh, I thought Mars was always a hot planet. I always saw Mars as a hot planet.
No, the only reason it's red is because oxidized iron. It's rusty. When a bike you leave in the rain, the water, the oxygen from the water oxidizes the iron, and that's what rust is. Rust is oxidized iron, and because there's iron on the surface of Mars and it's been oxidized, it's red. It's red.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that's
further away.
Yes. Mars is further away, and then it's just my very easy method. Mars, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. My very easy method. MVEN. Just so you know, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Just so you know.
Now you're getting me confused. I just worked.
It's easy.
No, it's a lot easier. It's when you tell me, right? Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. What comes after Mars?
Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune.
All right, Jupiter next.
Just remember the sentence
what's Jupiter like? Tell me about Jupiter.
Jupiter
comes after Mars.
Almost could have been a star.
Yeah.
Jupiter almost could have been a sun. In fact, the largest object, if you can say object, the largest thing in our solar system isn't actually the sun. The largest thing is the electromagnetic. I've got one. It's the electromagnetic sphere of Jupiter.
What's Jupiter like?
It's just gas. There's no surface. You can't stand on it.
Well, it's just gas.
It's just
a
hydrogen.
planet made of gas.
It's just hydrogen. Mainly, there's a
well,
trace element.
Jupiter is just gas.
Yeah, so Saturn would float in water. If there was a bath the size big enough to put Saturn in, Saturn would float. Saturn is less buoyant than it would float in water.
So how can it be called a planet if it's just gas?
It's a planet because it orbits the sun.
Oh, I thought a planet was a yeah, but I always
There's
thought
rocky planets, there's gaseous planets, there's ice
yeah,
planets.
but I thought no, I've always thought that
Moons are planets, but moons are planets that orbit planets.
I don't know any of this.
moons
I don't
are
know.
objects that orbit planets. So
Yeah, but I always thought that a planet was a solid mass.
No.
So how can you see Jupiter or Saturn comes after Jupiter? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Saturn's the father of Jupiter, who's the father of Mars. Something.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that. Anyway.
Like I said, listen to this. It's very easy. My very easy method. My MVEM.
Yeah.
My very easy method. Mars, Venus, Earth. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars.
It's easier for me.
Just so you know.
Yeah, but it's easier for me to remember what you've just said. Mercury first. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. Is that right?
Saturn, Uranus, Neptune.
Neptune. And Neptune's the furthest away.
Yeah.
Oh. Hold on. All right. Okay. I've got far back as Jupiter, which is a gas planet.
So is Saturn. They're called gas giants.
So it's not a planet. It's not actually solid.
It is a planet. It's not solid.
It's not.
No.
How can it stay in sort of like round? How can you see it through a telescope?
It's gravitationally bound. What do you mean? If it's not solid, of course you can see the sun isn't solid.
Yeah, no, that I gathered that. Right, I guess that.
The sun is just the same as Jupiter, only it's got more mass, so gravity can bring it in closer together. Friction.
So
heat,
what gas is Jupiter?
Mainly hydrogen, helium.
Oh, right.
Hydrogen and helium, the lightest elements.
And Saturn is what?
If there was more of Jupiter, gravity works on mass, right?
Yeah.
Gravity works on mass, right? So if you've got a lot of something, you've got more mass. Gravity works stronger. The stronger it's working, the more friction, the more interaction between atoms you get. The more interaction, the more friction. The more friction, the more heat. When you rub your hands, it gets hot. Yeah. The more friction, the more heat. If you get heat up high enough, where fusion reaction can occur, which is where a hydrogen and another hydrogen melt together and create a helium atom, and in the process they release energy. That's what the sun is. The sun is a massive fusion reactor. It fuses hydrogen together. It creates helium, and it releases helium, and the excess energy that comes off, because it took more energy for 2 hydrogens to exist than it took for 1 helium to exist. Fuses 2 hydrogen, 1 helium. The excess energy is the energy that comes off the sun. That's what we see as heat and light.
Okay, I get that. Right, so far I've learned from the sun, it's Mercury, Venus. No, don't tell me. I'm learning. I'm learning. Mercury, Venus, Earth. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn.
Yes.
We want to Saturn and then Uranus.
Neptune.
No,
Uranus, Neptune.
All right, we're on to Saturn now. Saturn next. What is Saturn?
It's also just gas.
What sort of gas is Saturn?
Pretty much the same.
Yeah? But lighter or something?
No, it's... So
something about floating on water?
Yes, it would float on water.
So if Jesus came from Saturn, he could walk on water?
Jesus could walk on Saturn, yeah.
Yeah, if Jesus came from Saturn, he could probably walk on water then. That's probably how he walks on water.
If you had a bath big enough, Saturn would float in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that right? Well, I suppose oxygen floats in water, doesn't it? Really, because oxygen
is part of water.
Well, it is part of water, yeah, but it's also oxygen outside.
Oxygen as a gas or oxygen as a liquid? Oxygen as a liquid will sink in water.
All right. So Saturn is just a lighter version of Jupiter, sort of thing. It's lighter gas than Jupiter.
See, now actually you kind of stumped me, because I know that Jupiter and Saturn are pretty much the same. I think they're pretty much the same. Like.
You have to study more and come back and tell me later. Okay, and after Jupiter comes Uranus. Uranus? Sorry, after Saturn.
That's ice.
After Saturn comes Uranus.
Cold, it's frozen.
Uranus is so cold it's frozen.
So is
you know, so many men have told me that before.
So is Neptune.
Sorry, Uranus. Uranus is cold and frozen. Yes, you know,
That is
men have
Neptune.
been telling me that. Men have been telling me that for a long time.
Saddest thing is Pluto's not a planet anymore.
That's quite funny.
Right.
It's not. It's been
So
demoted.
after Uranus comes
Neptune.
Neptune. And
Pluto-
Neptune is Neptune water or what? What is
Yeah,
Neptune?
Water, ice,
It's
frozen.
water. That's why it's called Neptune.
Pluto
It
ain't
is
a
water.
planet,
Is
though.
it water? It is actually made of water.
I'm pretty sure there's water there, but it's just frozen rock.
Oh, right.
So there must be ice there. Yeah, there's no water, yeah.
Yes, it's like frozen ice. Oh,
Little
right.
Pluto ain't a planet no more.
So that's Neptune's. That's also Aquarius, isn't it? Neptune.
I'm Aquarius, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
Neptune. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you might be my brother. When was you born?
28th of January.
Oh, 'cause my brother's 13th of February.
Yeah, so he's Aquarius as well.
Aquarius as well, yeah. This is the dawning of the age of
It's the age of
Aquarius.
Aquarius.
So blah, blah. Yeah, that's good.
But
Right.
you still haven't let me prove to you that dark matter. This is why we started it.
Okay, you tell me about dark matter.
So we know that we know how the laws of motion work. We know due to a given mass.
I've
how
learned the planets.
fast-
Now. Hold on, it's Mercury.
I can even give you the equation. I can even give you the equation.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune.
Yeah.
And why is Pluto not a planet anymore?
Because of its because there's many, but that actually exists in I can't remember if it's the Kuiper belt or the other one. Basically, there are many bodies. Well, there are billions. Well, there are millions of rocks in between Mars and
Oh, right.
Jupiter. Millions of rocks in between meteors or whatever you want to call them that exist between Mars and Jupiter. There is another sheet of all of these
Yeah,
things
right.
outside
You want to talk about dark matter?
Neptune. They're all around this. So and it has a very erratic orbit. Its eccentricity is
Oh, right.
like really high. But anyway, dark matter. Right. So we know how fast. If I have a mass of this, whatever it is, mass X and mass Y,
Yeah.
I can tell you how fast mass X should orbit around mass Y.
Right.
Yeah. Now, like I said, this solar system is an enclosed gravitationally bound system. But also, on a larger scale, our galaxy is part of what we call our local group of galaxies. And then our local group of galaxies is also bound to the next larger step. Do you see what I'm saying? On the higher you go into large scale structure, things are rotating. Yeah, they're orbiting faster than they should be. We know how it works on small scales. It works even on medium scales and then larger scales. But on proper large scale structure, galaxies orbiting and stuff, yeah, they're moving too fast. And we don't know why. There has to be a mass there that we cannot account for. We can't find it because we can't see it. It doesn't react with electromagnetic radiation. It doesn't react with light. We can't see it. But it has to be there because we can infer it gravitationally. We're inferring its presence because of gravity. We know it's there, but we can't see it. That's why we call it dark. It's the same as dark energy. We know that dark energy
like the
is
Twilight Zone. The
and
unexplainable.
this is real. It's explainable. We know that it exists. We just can't see it yet. But we're thinking that it might be this one thing, but we think it's weak interactive massive particles. Massive meaning that they're very dense. They have a very large effect on gravity, but they're weak interactive, so they don't interact with
So where is dark matter?
on large scales. Galaxies wouldn't have been able to form if
And
there
it's
wasn't
just
dark matter.
that.
There's things called dark matter halos,
Oh,
which
right.
allow
Yeah.
things inside to mold.
My mate's going down coal mines looking for dark matter.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Underground, where there's less fucking. Yeah, I know. I need
it
to
sounds
talk to this
bonkers.
guy. I need to. If he's actually doing this for real, he'll teach me.
He
He'll be able to
was
teach
telling
me.
Bill one time, and Bill's like, so I get up at 4 and post letters, and you get paid more than me, and you sit in a room trying to find something that isn't there. Like, obviously it's there, but you can't see it, kind of thing. And he's like, Bill, it's not there. And Bill was sitting there like them trying a big debate for about half hour. It's so funny because he's like, we know it's there, but you can't see it. So Bill's like, so how do you know it exists there? But you've just explained it like.
Because you can infer it gravitationally.
Oh.
It's like saying I'm blind, but I know the wall is there because I can't walk fucking through it. Just because you ain't got eyes to see it, it don't mean it ain't there.
I suppose like heaven or ghosts and stuff.
But we can't infer.
We
the
can't.
presence
We
of
don't
heaven.
know. I mean,
How can you infer the presence of heaven on its reaction?
but
on what?
that's you just said it. It's the presence of heaven.
Yes,
It's
but
not a place
how
that
can
you
we
go.
how can we examine it? We can examine dark matter. We actually know how much of the universe is dark matter. I can tell you now that the percentage of dark matter to baryonic matter is about 80%.
Have you ever
to
taken
20%.
LSD?
No.
Oh, you should take LSD, man. We could do some wonderful trips together.
I'm freaked out
I
on
believe.
mushrooms, so I don't
I've
like
taken LSD. I've seen the other reality. I've seen like pictures come alive. The windows
I've
melt.
done it. I've done
My
mushrooms
face
and
is
it
melted.
scared the shit out of me.
My
Sorry, I
face.
didn't even say hello.
My face
name's
is
Adam.
melted. My
Right.
face is
Your
melted.
name?
Sharon.
Sharon. Hello.
I've been to a different world, but where do you? It's also like when you think about it, right? It's like where do you go when you're asleep? What I think heaven is where you go when you're sleeping and you dream. Do you ever get really, really vivid dreams?
I fucked up dreams.
And don't you think that when you're dreaming, it feels very, very real, doesn't it? It feels as real as reality, doesn't it? When you're actually dreaming, right? When you're actually asleep in bed, right? And you're in a dream.
Planets, Bill. What's the
And,
planets?
and things are happening.
What's the planets?
And you have like a party in your sleep or something like that. Yeah?
Yeah, what's the planets?
Hey? Yeah, hold on, let me finish what I'm saying. But I think what heaven is,
He's forgotten.
what I think heaven is the other world. The world we go to when we're asleep. So maybe there is a heaven, maybe there is an afterlife. Maybe heaven is where we go when we're asleep. Because when I'm tripping on LSD, I'm in heaven and I'm also here at the same time. Heaven, true paradise is when you combine the, like I said, the other world, the dream world, with the reality. It's a combination of the dream world with the reality. That's what the Aborigines have always believed and this is why I learnt about dream time. I've always believed in dream time. Because when I was in Australia, that was about 1990. I was in Australia in 1990, and I really got to know. I got into the Aboriginal culture sort of thing, the hippie culture and stuff. But I learnt a lot about the Aborigines, about the Aborigine dream times in the forests and stuff. And what I think when they go walkabout, you see, and they go walkabout to find the dream self and stuff like that, and you get animals and stuff coming up to you and things talking to you. I talk to horses. I used to talk to horses a lot in Australia. But I do believe in dream time. I do believe that LSD is a glimpse of what is to be. I think LSD is a glimpse of the future reality to be. I've taken loads of LSD. And I know that when you're asleep and you dream, it feels real, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel real when you're asleep and you're dreaming? When you're watching this movie, it feels real.
When I dream, I can control them almost.
I can
know
fly.
that I'm dreaming.
I can fly
I
when
know
I'm
that I'm
dreaming.
dreaming when I've got this fucked up dream, Bill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I can kind of semi-fly. Yeah. I'm like trying to fly, but I keep bouncing off buildings. And I'm in London, yeah, and I'm like out of control, but I hit things softly. But I can't fly properly, and I just go around places and I see people that have been part of my life, like important people or people I've just met, people that have made me think, and they're just there on the ground, and I'm bouncing off buildings, and I can see them down there, and then I carry on, and I'm bouncing, I see next.
But you
people.
talk to them and interact, and it feels real, doesn't it? It does feel real until you wake up. But that makes you wonder: is the spirit world real, or are we real? Maybe we're here and there in the spirit. Maybe this is the spirit world, but the physical reality of the spirit world. I do believe that the dream world is real. When you're asleep, it's a different reality. It's like maybe a future reality, even. Who knows? Nobody knows. But it feels real when you're dreaming. It's like sort of like what could be. That's what makes me a writer. I write dreams down. Stuff. A lot of my stories are based on my dreams. I'll tell you a story in a minute. Do you want to hear a story in a minute? Yeah, tell me about your dreams.
Bruv, I had this one dream about 2 weeks ago, yeah? That I took my stomach off and I put it on the floor.
Yeah.
And I pulled the skin back, and it was the bit in between my stomach and the skin. Like, so I've got the skin and then I've got my stomach, which is like a bag. But I've got this stuff in between. And I had knives and forks and perfect slices of corned beef
I tell-
and salami. Just slices of salami and corned beef sitting there perfectly in between my skin and my stomach. And
hold on a
knives
minute.
and forks. And
Yeah.
I was going, what the fuck? I'm looking at it on the floor. I peeled it back and I was like, you know, like you'd have your suitcase when you look before you go on holiday. And you're like, right, I've got this, I've got this. I did that. I pulled the skin back, looked down at my stomach on the floor, and on top, I'm like, right, we've got
Joe, do you
perfectly
think
slices
do
of
you
corned
think
beef.
it's-
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. No, wait.
I'll
No,
be
no,
quiet
no.
the whole
'Cause
thing. I'll
we're
be
going to
quiet
make
the
another
whole
film
thing.
in a second. We're going to carry on
I've got
filming.
one question, that's all. Something quiet.
Yeah,
the
but
whole thing.
I just want to stop this now to make sure it's still working.
You can't say one thing before you
Yeah.
shut it. Right, people
We're going
always
to make
say,
another one straight
yeah,
away.
I know, but I'm just saying, I've been quiet, right? Apparently, there's a myth that if you die in your dream, yeah, apparently you actually because apparently if you, that's why, you know, like when you have dreams, like I have dreams, I'll jump off buildings and that, but before I hit the floor, I always wake up.
Yeah, same.
You know what I mean?
You ever heard of The Matrix?
I fell off cliffs and stuff
Apparently,
in
if you
my
die
dreams,
in
but I
your
don't know
dream,
if I ever
you have a
hit the
heart
floor.
attack or something. That's,
Right.
what I like, that's why you always, even me, when I'm doing something, I run and then I fall over, I always fall off something, always wake up before I hit the floor and that.
Right, I've got to cut this. Got to make
Yeah,
sure it's
go on,
working,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then